All right. I think I'm live. Yep. Okay. I'm live. Very cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tweet this out. I don't know if it's going to make much difference because, again, I don't have a lot of followers on Twitter either. But, what the hey. How many windows do I have open? Good Lord. Okay. Got one too many windows open, or more than one too many. Alrighty. Well, as you can see over here, I made some progress. I didn't stream that progress because, well, my son and wife and stuff were home, and it's noisy and chaotic around here when everybody else is home. So, home alone now. That doesn't mean that it's going to be quiet. Phone calls and whatnot, like yesterday. Live streaming on YouTube. On my Modular Vehicle System. And that's exactly what I mean about it not being quiet. Here I go getting text messages already. Alright. I popped out my chat window so I can see it, I think. And I had a false start earlier on my stream, so I'm going to have to go back and clean that up at some point and remove that video. All right. I clicked the button before I was ready and ended up streaming like a minute of just the stream starting soon screen. I was just trying to get stuff set up, and in the process I accidentally clicked the stream now button. Yeah, got it. Great. Alrighty, well, I made some progress. A couple big things I did. I decided I didn't like the stance of the truck. It was too low. So I did not get rid of the original because I think there are some designs that will need the lower profile for the wheels. So I just made a new one that raises the suspension on whatever you're designing, so that and I'll be able to pretty easily modify that and make even bigger lifts, or lower drops using the other design. It'll be easy to just scale that up or down. But yeah, as you can see, I made I got the cab, basic part of the cab done. I mean, I need to tweak some stuff, but see the cab, put a nice little visor over the windows. The rear frame is in place. The suspension's higher now, which looks better for a military truck. think. And that was part of the reason that when I got back here and started making this, the suspension where it was at had the frame rails for the bed sitting either to make them a normal thickness. They were either going to sit below the top of the tire, which I didn't like, or in order to get them above the tire, I was going to have to make the frame rails too high. And that's when I realized I was going to have to modify the mounting point for the wheels and raise the suspension. But I think it looks better. I like it so far, anyway. I don't know if anyone's going to join me today or not. We will see. But I think it looks better. I like it so far, anyway. Need to. I don't know if anyone's going to join me today or not. If somebody comes in, we will see. Because the pop-out chat that I had was for the false start video, which is what I was in the process of doing, was popping the chat out so I could get the URL and put it into OBS. I tried to switch to ultra low latency. I had some issues with the amount of delay that I had yesterday, but for some reason that was grayed out. It wouldn't let me choose it. I guess it's automatically selecting which latency option is what it feels best for my current connection. And so if I have another long delay like that again today, I apologize. All right, so let's see, what should we do next? I mean, that's just the basic frame back there. Guess I need to put a bed on it, so we can do that. Today, it might be best to make the bed as a separate piece, and then it can just slide into the frame rail section back there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll create a cube, which, because of the scale of this, and Blender by default scales everything to like 1 meter squares, and so the starting cube is gigantic when you first bring it in. Make it probably about the same width as the fenders, don't you think? Scale it along the Z. Keep a little thickness to it. Bring it up. Back. I might need to raise that frame rail just a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that real fast before we get involved in the bed. Let's get a little more height off the top of the tires there. So I'll select those vertices, bring them up a little bit. We'll scale that along the X. All right, so now there's a basic form of a bed. Good starting point anyway. find me a reference image. Trying to find a good reference image for something that's generally, of course, I'm not designing any of my vehicles to be exact replicas of anything. I want the designs to be my own and not have to worry about anybody screaming about copyright infringement or anything like that. So all the designs that I do, like I said, I very seldom draw anything out in advance, and I don't want to sit down. I could, if I wanted to, pull up blueprints of something and try to model it exactly, but again, you start running into people screaming about copyrights and this, that, and the other thing, and I don't want that to be a hindrance for anything that I make. That might be a good reference image. Okay. So something like that. We'll work with that one. That window there so I can see it. Get some ideas for how I need to do this. Now, do you think it's a big deal that I don't have the dually rear wheels? One thing I definitely can do is I'll go ahead and delete that. Duplicate that and slide it along the X. I don't know if I need to make it with dual rear wheels, then all I would have to do is modify this to be narrower, and might have to bring that in as well there, because you want the dual tires, if you have them, to still end up being the same overall width as the front, which would mean the actual connection point would need to be narrower back here. I don't know. This is, I mean, it's not, it's not real, it's a toy. So I don't know if that level of accuracy is that important. I think that's making the wheelbase too long by putting, so maybe I need to move. Yeah, let's try it. Let's delete that one. Let's slide this one back here. Might be too long in general. Let's just delete that. Delete those. Because the other thing that I'm forgetting to keep in mind is the length of that panel is probably too large for most printers anyway. Yeah, it's looking better. I don't know. There's nobody in here right now to ask. I'm sure at some point somebody will join me. And they can weigh in on whether it needs to have dual back wheels and if I need to try to accommodate that in the design. But right now I'm thinking, again, it's a toy. How many times did G.I. Joe toys actually do dual rear wheels on stuff that would have had them in reality? And can't answer that for sure, but I can't think of too many times that occurred. All right, so I think we need panels that will snap in along the sides and the front and the tailgate. So first thing would probably be, let's do a couple ring cuts on this. There we go. Oh, just two. And then we'll scale those out along the Y. It's pretty good. Ring cut along this axis and up here. Just eyeball it. Because I can always grab the vertices and adjust if need be. That looked too wide, so just grab the vertices and slide it up a little. There we go. All right, so I should have, do some of these. I should have made double ring cuts and scaled them out along the X, because what I think I need to do is make post pockets in these corners. So then we can take come on. Double ring cut that. Scale them out along the Y. Control R is the shortcut for a ring cut, and then if you scroll the mouse wheel up, it will increase the number of rings, or down to decrease the number of rings. So that, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, however many you want. You could do a lot, which would be crazy. I just need 2 in this case. And then before they get set, I will scale them out along the y-axis. For right now. Which actually, what I should be doing, let's undo that. What I should be doing is designing this in 1/2. That way I can mirror it and make sure my holes are identical. So that's what I'm going to do. So to do that, I'm going to go to vertex mode, unselect everything, and I'm going to grab this edge, delete all those vertices. And I'm going to grab this edge, move it down to center, scroll in a little closer so I can a little bit better. Looks pretty well. Whoop, spot on. Come out of wireframe mode, we'll go to this. And we'll go to the modifier panel, and we'll add a mirror modifier. We will mirror it along the Y, not the X. Now we will go back into edit mode. So now a ring cut up here. And scale that along the X. And we will ring cut down here, 2 of them. And then we will scale that along the X out until that looks about even. So now we will go into face select mode. I will select these faces, top and bottom. We will delete them, delete the faces. Then we'll go into edge select mode. Select that edge and that edge, make a face by hitting F. Select that one and that one, F to make a face. One and that one, F to make a face. That one and that one, F to make a face. Repeat the same at this end of the bed. That one, and that one, F. 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 Okay. So what that gives us is this rectangular bed with post holes in the corners. So then we'll be able to build wall panels that slide in to those posts, but you'll be able to pull it out if you don't want that in there and make it a flat bed. Dog is sleeping under by my feet under my desk. Okay. Chip's having some issues with cameras and lighting yesterday, which was strange because I've lit plenty of these things in the past and not had any problems. I'm going to delete that light altogether right now and just see what happens when I go to render. Now, rendering could cause the chat to lag out, or the stream rather, to lag out. So if it does, I apologize profusely. Yeah, I don't know why that one light is still just being so intense. It's another reason I need a new computer is rendering is so difficult with this machine. Alright, I've kind of seen enough of what I need to see, so I'm going to hit escape to stop the render. Which the fans of my computer go like kick into overdrive when I hit render. Probably won't stream as long as I did yesterday. I don't know. I might. Just kind of playing it by ear. Not quite as highly motivated today as I was yesterday. But I like seeing progress. I like seeing this thing come along. Maybe if I go into the lighting panel here. There it is. Lighting panel. Light, custom properties. No, preview. Yeah, its size isn't crazy. It's, I don't know. Try raising it up a little bit more and take it farther away from the scene, see if that. It's still just so intense. I don't know. Anyway. Maybe I accidentally scaled the model down too much. One way to see would be measuring the wheels and tires is always a good place to start. So this way it'll give me a chance to show you guys a little bit of the Measure It add-on for Blender. If you go and select 2 points that you want to measure between. Oh, well, I've already got those 2 points measured. Well, just for sake of argument, I will show you guys what delete my measurements here. What else am I measuring? measurement on that. Get rid of it. Delete all my measurements because I said I haven't. Alright, so now we can show you. So you go into edit mode and you select 2 points you want to measure between. I know it's not getting the total circumference of the tire because the tire goes a little bit farther out than that, but that'll give me a fair idea of my scaling right now. Anyhow, so you click this button over here that says segment. And so you can see there the tire's diameter is approximately 6.43 millimeters. So call it 6.5 time you get to the actual outer dimension. So I will pull out my trusty old metal ruler here. And a 6.5. Yeah, that's why. It should be like 65. So maybe that's why I'm having problems. I went 6.5 centimeters, not 6.5 millimeters. So when I scaled the whole project down from original, I accidentally scaled it down too much. So that's why we're having light intensity issues. So I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to scale it out. Until that's about 65 millimeters. Now I gotta try and bring it back to center because scaling stuff messes with that. But while everything is still selected, I will hit G. Hit Z to go into wireframe view. And having stuff as centered as possible on the center point, the origin point of the program, helps whenever you're creating new stuff, because by default Blender brings that in to the center point. And we want to move it so that the tires are sitting on that axis point or close to it. And bring back our plane. Scale our plane out. We will select this, go into our materials. Let's make a new material for this because no, let's not. Let's go ahead and just make it the green that everything else is. Alright, so I'm going to hit 0 on the number pad that shows me what my camera is looking at, so I can adjust my camera a little bit. Move the camera a little bit that way, more that way. Down just a little bit. Now we're going to go on a top view. We're going to move the whole camera in just a little bit. Now how's the camera looking? Let's look at that. Okay. So now that I scaled that stuff out where it's supposed to be, let's see if just a quick render here and see if it fixed my lighting looking insanely bright, and now it's going to be too dim, isn't it? Yeah. So that was why my lighting was looking crazy. Couldn't figure that out yesterday. Well, that happens when you made the entire truck just a few millimeters in size versus its proper size. Okay. Which I'm already seeing something that happened that is most unfortunate. Oh man. A couple things that I had hidden earlier didn't scale with it because they weren't selected. Okay. Let's see if I can fix it. Some things that I want to keep. And they need to be in scale. So we'll scale that up. Let's get it close. It's what I get for not thinking things through. Okay. Fix that. So yeah, as you can see, this was the original connection points I had made for the wheels, and so that actually put the wheels connecting slightly above the bottom of the frame, and what that was doing was causing my tires to be too close up to the body, not enough suspension clearance, whatever, for the frame to look anywhere remotely right. So what I did was temporarily hide this stuff. What I did was I took this and I slid down, I moved down just this piece, and then had to extrude out a piece here and connect them together, which should give enough rigidity for them down like that. But I'm thinking I may design a faux axle going between these 2 points. But I didn't want to get rid of this because other vehicles in my vehicle modular vehicle system may need that suspension height, and it gives me the chance to, if I have something that I design later that needs lower suspension, all I'll have to do is grab those points there, and I can literally move those up, just slide them up on the z-axis, and that will effectively lower the suspension. What I did when I made this was I just grabbed them and slid them down, and then after I slid them down, I extruded out this box here, and that created a triangle there. So yeah, I slid them down, and then I extruded down this point. I created a triangle there, and I just deleted the faces off of the outer part of this part I extruded and the inner face off of this, and then connected those together, bridged it all together so that it would make a nice, at least should be solid connecting point for the wheel. And like I said, for aesthetic reasons and maybe structural rigidity, but of course it'll also mean using more plastic when you print. I may make a faux axle with, you know, differential and all that goes in between those 2 points. I don't know. Depends on if, I guess, if people think it's worth it for the extra plastic to have a little bit more realism. Yeah, it's a toy. All right, so I fixed that one. Where's the other one that I kept that I did not fix? It's the same thing. It's just another copy of the same thing, so I don't really need to keep it. I can delete it. I need to go through and name all this stuff. I still haven't done that. But that's not very exciting or interesting to watch. But, I mean, in order to do that, let's see. So, like, I could select that Taurus right there. And instead of Taurus, name it tire. Because as I said before, once this is done and I like make the STL files for everything and put them up on Thingiverse, you'll just print 6 of this, for this model in particular, you'll print 6 of these wheels and 6 of these tires. Now if I decide to go back later and make these a dually, then I'll have to make a wheel that's got a deep dish look to the back, but right now, like I said, I don't think it's all that important. It's a fictional truck designed for toys. One of the most difficult parts about doing this stuff is the things that need to be hinged. Like, so when I go to make the doors will have to be hinged, which I'll have to create the mounting point for the door hinge on the cab piece, and then the hinge, the arm that the hinge is on, and all that on the door. And one of the most difficult parts about it is not having a printer yet. I can't print these out and test that I have the correct radius on that arm that'll be on the door, so that when it swings out, it goes around the frame of the door frame, so that when you go around it, you can see it on other toys. Hold on. Switch to webcam close-up. Focus. There it goes. All right, so you can see on other toys, this is the part I'm talking about right here. The arm that connects to the inside of the door, so that when the door swings out, it misses the body. So that's an essential thing that I have to design, but every toy you look at is slightly different. It's usually optimized or designed specifically for the body and door that it's working with. And so I have really no way of testing that other than to just kind of eyeball it and guess. One of the things I guess I need to learn in Blender is how to do the actual rigging, like you're rigging for animation, and then I could rig that. I could rig that piece in the model, and then I could actually in the viewport swing it open, and it would stay attached at that attachment point, and could test it. But yeah, So that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is creating the friction point that when the door closes, it will like snap closed, like on this truck. You see when the door closes, there's resistance before it closes all the way, and then when you push it, it's tight. So that's another thing I can't test until I have one in my hands to see if it works, and then tweak and iterate the design until it's where it needs to be. So I did see that Don, the German 3D printing nerd, got his Wanhao Duplicator 9, and he posted a video of his assembly and all that, but he hasn't posted any videos yet to show us what kind of quality on the prints that it gets. So I'm anxiously awaiting to see him do some test prints and see if that thing prints all right, because like I said, the Wanhao Duplicator 9 has so far been the one I've got my heart set on. It's the one I got my hopes up for the most. But if it turns out that it's a problematic printer, either in the design of the printer itself, or if it doesn't put out quality prints, then it certainly makes it not a viable option for me. I need a printer that when I get my first printer, that it works. So needing the build volume that I need, needing to stick within a certain budget, you know, because I got the wife on board, but the wife won't be on board with spending, you know, $3,000 or whatever on like a G-Max, which would be, you know, I would love to have a G-Max, but there's no way the wife would be on board with spending $3,000 on a printer. So I need it to stay within a certain budget. It has to have a build volume that meets my needs. So if the Wanhao doesn't turn out to be as good print quality wise as the CR10, then I'll have to go back to my original desire to own a Creality CR10, CR10S specifically. My hopes are up for the Wanhao because it has more advancement technology wise, with the removable magnetic print surface and the direct drive extruder, which I like because then that would make flexibles a possibility. And flexibles, it might be nice to print the tires in a flexible. I don't know. So, and I know flexibles, while some people have posted videos and it's possible on the CR10, it's not as likely from a stock CR10. So I'm looking for something that I can straight out of the box print the things that I need, because you know, while I'm sure upgrades and modifications will happen, they won't happen immediately because it's going to be my first and only printer for a while. And that being the case, if I take the thing out of commission to upgrade it or whatever, I won't have anything to do any printing with. So I'm sure if I end up like everybody else, my first printer won't be my only printer before, you know, it won't be long, and I'll have, you know, 2 or 3 of them sitting here. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so we don't need this right now. We're going to go ahead and hide that. Get back to working on this. So we made the bed, the base of the bed anyway. It's got post holes, so I will make walls for that. And then the walls, I think I'll put post holes in to put the arches for like a canvas top. But I don't know if I'll be able to believably design a printable canvas top. I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to look at some tutorials online on Blender and see if I can realistically model a canvas cloth top for it, have it do the appropriate amount of sag and such around the pieces, and then lock itself that way. Lock it into that position so that it can be saved as an STL file in that shape. Because otherwise, designing it and actually modifying a hard object to look like sagging 3D cloth, I don't know. I don't hold out a lot of hope for that. But I'm sure it's possible. It's doable. But it's something that is outside of my current level of expertise or ability. Let's just go with that. So with the base for the bed made, let's go ahead and bring back the tools menu here, which that is just the T on the keyboard. You can hide or bring back your toolbar. So sometimes it's nice to be able to have a little bit bigger screen to work with, so T just takes that away. There's a properties window also that's hideable or whatever, that you can bring back and forth with the N key. So if you want a biggest screen while modeling, you hit T and N, you get rid of those. Most of the time I just leave the tools up. It's big enough for me. I got a 19-inch monitor. Now it's an old monitor. It's an old HP VS19E. So again, further into I need new stuff, but I want to get a printer first. So let's go into create. Let's create another cube. Scale this down. Now, bring this up here. Scale it down some. Whoop. Wait a minute. Let's scale it just along the X. Flatten it out some. Scale it just along the Z some. Let's bring it in here. All right. That's going to get us in the ballpark. Crazy hair, that's what all 3D printing guys need, right? Look at Angus and Joel. They've all got crazy spiked up hair. Or, well, sometimes Angus just has a lot of hair. My gosh. Okay, so tab to go into edit mode. Bring this back into the screen a little bit. All right, so go into wireframe mode. Doesn't need to be that thick, so we're going to scale down the X. And now we're going to start modifying a little bit at the vertice level. Which it looks like what I need to do is fill that inner piece first. So grab both of these, drag them down. Grab just this one, drag it down. Just remember, if you watched the video from yesterday, the plan is going to be to make a grill that is attached to the bumper. That way you can print the front bumper and the grill out together as one piece, You put them in, and they can be color matched. That way, if you want to make them like gray or black, or whatever crazy color, I mean, you can make this thing pink and purple if you wanted to. I don't think it would be very efficient from a military standpoint to have a pink truck, but in the G.I. Joe universe, we've seen some crazy color combinations. All you got to do is look at the Dreadnoks. Those guys have some nutty colors. All right, so we can see there that we're too wide. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to grab I guess I could have just hit Control A. Because that's, right now, it only has those vertices. We're going to scale it in along the Y until it lines up with the hole. Now we're going to go back to the front here. Yeah. So that's filling the hole nicely. And that's where we will model in the grill and the lights. And then we will try to wrap it around this piece. It might take some creative thought, because ideally I want the bumper to be able to be screwed on to these pieces, so when you run the screw through the bottom, it'll screw it into the bumper. That'll hold the bumper tightly to the first frame piece. And so as you can see, each one of these connectors goes in the middle to bridge the gap between each section. And then when you run a screw through it, or glue it, either way, it should make that a solid bridged piece. Alrighty. Progress, progress, progress. Sometimes you'll see me just kind of staring at this stuff, and it's because, like I said earlier, I don't plan things out ahead of time. I just go on the fly. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't design the headlights and stuff so that they're out here on the fender, and then save this for being just grill design, or if I should design the headlights into here and leave that nice and smooth. I don't know. If anybody comes in and watches this later, comment down below what you think. I haven't saved in a little while, so I'm going to save. Because at this point, what I can do, I will just take and make, where is it, the current. See, this is what I need to get in the habit of doing. I just created this part, and I'm going to go ahead and just call it grill. So that moves it down in the lists alphabetically to there. It'll make stuff easier for me to find if I would name everything as I go. I probably just need to go ahead and do some of that right now. Front clip. Cab. Rear frame. bed, bottom, and we'll call that axle. Which these are just a copy of that, so they're really unimportant. I'll just axle 2. Axle 3. Frame blank. Frame 2. All these little connectors. Connector. All right. So all these other cubes you see are the other connectors. There's like 10 of them or something in there right now. And I'm not really worried about going back and renaming all of them because, again, one design, you print out as many of them as you need. All right, so since I've got grill, where's the grill? Grill. So now I can scroll down here and find the grill. I want to make a copy of the grill by hitting Shift D. You hold down Shift and hit D and it creates a copy. I'm not going to move it anywhere, so I'm going to hit Enter. And now I'm going to hide it and hide it from the render so that the eyeball is the viewport that you're looking at when you're designing, and the little camera is the render. So I hid that from the render. Excuse me. So I got an extra copy of this. So I'm going to start with designing it like I want the headlights and the grill on this piece. And if I decide I don't like it later, all I've got to do is bring the copy I just made back up and start over with the look on it. So we're going to, let's see, should we make this round headlights or rectangular? Go back and look at my reference image and see what they have on theirs. It's round on that one. Round on that one. Square on that one. Most of them appear to be round though. But again, this is my design. I can do whatever I want with it. Let's go with, round. All right, so if I'm going to go with round, we're talking about adding additional geometry and then doing Boolean operators. So I'm going to add a cylinder, scale that cylinder way down. Put it down here, keep scaling it down. Like that. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Along not the X but the Y. Slide it up. Slide it over. back, scale it along the X. It's about like that. Okay, so now I have to decide, do we want it up top? It's a more traditional look, but a lot of these actually have it down lower. Yeah, let's go with down low like that. I don't know. I think it looks kind of old school, kind of cool. So copy it. We just need to move it along the y-axis only. Looks about right. So make things a little easier to see. Over here, render that color. No. Now I'm looking at it like I want it higher. Yeah, let's do that. All right. All the people that do watch this that are heading to Murph this weekend, wish I could be there, but most of my most lucrative work comes on the weekends, so I can't take those off. It's a situation when you're a musician that you only get paid if you play. There are no such things as paid vacation time, and so I have to take advantage of the weekends and make my money when it's the best time to do so. All right, so we're going to keep those there for now. I will do a Boolean operator on them at some point, and it'll depend upon the rest of the grill design, whether that's a difference, which is a subtraction element where I will recess the lights, or if I decide to do a union, which joins the two objects, makes them one object. And we would do that if we wanted them to stick out a little bit like they are right now. I'll probably end up trying it both ways as I get into that part. But right now I'm just kind of fleshing out the pieces that all need to be in place. And trying to think in my head how they go together. make sure that it makes sense. Which, now that I'm thinking of it, the bumper and grill being one piece may not even make sense. So that's where I'm at with that. So have to make a rear bumper. We'll make walls for the bed. But it's coming along. Anyhow, I'm probably going to wrap this up shortly because I know it's still not lunchtime yet, but I'm already getting hungry. Joey. Well, there he is. I was just curious where you were at. He's laying on our guest bed. So yeah, as I said before, this is my man cave, but it's got so many different avenues of my life all crammed into one spot, and then it's also it got a guest bed over there. Got exercise equipment, video games, and music equipment. It's where I try to do like everything. And 3D printing is just going to have to find a home in here. Because the 3 bedrooms are all full. And my wife wouldn't stand for it being out someplace in the public area of the house if we have a guest. Again, I guess the guest would see it if they came up here to sleep in the guest bed and stay the night, but the only guests that would be staying the night would know all the crap that I'm into and just go, oh God, he's got another thing going. But no, I think we made a little bit of progress today. It's looking good, and it's saved. It'll be a cool little truck when it gets done, and I'll put it up on Thingiverse when I get to that point, and anybody out there will be able to print it. And some of you who have been following closely and supporting my efforts, if you want to get a hold of the stuff before I make it public to everybody else, hit me up. You guys know who you are, and I'll be happy to share this stuff with you guys anytime. So I mean, if you wanted to print this out as it sits right now, even though it's not done, I'll let you. If you want to use the filament. I just don't want to put it up for the general public until it's as ready as I can make it without testing it myself. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it good for now. Like I said, I'm getting hungry. We're getting hungry. Gotta go eat something. And I saw Tom Sandlatter put up a new video sometime last night, and I haven't watched it yet. So I'm gonna go fix me something to eat and kick back and watch some other people's 3D printing stuff going on. And but thank you guys. Anybody who decides to watch this, thank you for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified when I put up either reviews of the things that I've designed and show you guys where I'm at on that, or whenever I get a 3D printer. or whenever I post another live stream like this where I'm just hanging out and messing around on Blender, and you can join in with me, or just kind of fast forward through this video and kind of see what's going on, and if there's something you're curious about, then slow down at that spot. I don't do any of this for the money or the attention. I just do it because I love it, and I have fun doing it. So I hope you guys had fun joining me, those that decide to watch this. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one, y'all. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. You can check out the blog progress on Tanner3D.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Tanner_3D at Twitter. So at Tanner_3D. And yeah, so thank you very much. And if anybody feels like leaving a tip or supporting me on Patreon, the links are in the description. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all stopping in with us today. That's me and Joey over there, and he doesn't want to say hi or bye. Either one today. He's taking a nap on the guest bed. But anyhow, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, and see y'all next time. Bye.